Hi, and welcome back to Social Studies with Miss Wardell. So this is page 154, and here I really just want to talk about the end of this last chapter. So within this last chapter, we're talking about the cooperation between American Indians and European settlers. We're going to list the four things that we mainly talk about in this chapter, and you should have already been listening and reading about. But as I flip back through, it says, as settlers moved west, American Indians and American colonists had more contact with each other. And while there was conflict between the two groups, there was also cooperation. They traded goods and exchanged parts of their culture. They formed alliances and even signed treaties. So just right here, I already know that they traded goods and exchanged parts of their culture. They formed alliances and they signed treaties. But these things, these subheadings right here, this really gives me a good indication. So I know that there's like culture exchange, I know that there's fur trading. This helps me to know what kind of cooperation there was, right? So that's a great indicator. Again, we talked about fur trading, but there's treaties, there's military alliances. So already I know that we could talk about military alliances. That's an example of cooperation. Alliances. This is when we work together. There were treaties. So negotiation, things whenever people, they're no longer fighting, but they're working together and coexisting. We mentioned fur trade. And we also mentioned these cultural exchanges, right? So cultural exchanges. And you might think to yourself, Miss Wardell, I don't know what cultural exchanges are. I understand the treaties and the alliances and the fur trade. But if I go back and I look at these cultural exchanges and talks about, and really you do, it talks about how the colonists shared farming methods, like plowing and digging up fields, using animals to help with labor, such as pulling plows. These are things that maybe the Native Americans didn't think of, right? Maybe they changed their ways. Indians, more than European clothing, they wore more European clothing. It became more like common to see more European than the Native American clothing. They used more of the European tools in their daily lives, right? They utilized the animals. They used all of these things to help them farm the land, right? They also, the American Indians, they taught the colonists how to track these animals in their native land, such as buffalo or deer. So this is what we mean by these cultural exchanges, okay? The next one talks about, we're not going to do the express your opinion, but we also, let's look at the predicting possible outcomes. How might history have been different if Europeans had not been interested in coming to North America? Well, these American Indians, they would have kept their own land, wouldn't they have? Yeah, so they would have kept their own land. So we might say, like, American Indians they would not have had to trade or fight or sell, would have kept their own land. They would have not, remember too, whenever they came in contact with these Europeans, they also came in contact with lots of diseases. So they would have never been exposed. I might use a transition word here. Also, they would have never been exposed to the European diseases. So there's lots of ways that they could have been impacted, right? But these are just a few. If you come up with your own, definitely put your own, but if you want to put mine and yours, that's great. If you need up here to write, great. Alright guys, I'll see ya. We did it. Bye.